This shit, I already see Paul Walker's name here, bro. This shit made me sad already, boy. What's a legend, bro? What's a fucking legend?
Paul Walker. On November 30th, 2013, fans around the world were shocked by the sudden...
Oh yeah, worst car crashes, deaths ever, celebrities. Happy Diego Jota, bro. That shit happened
death
recently,
of Paul
bro.
Walker, the 40-year-old actor best known for his role in the...
I remember I woke up randomly, I checked my phone, I got a football app, it said that shit said Diego Jota fucking passed away on a car accident. You know how crazy that was.
Fast and Furious films. Walker had built his career playing a man who lived for speed, someone who always came out of a crash untouched. That afternoon, Walker attended a charity event in Santa Clarita, California. He stepped into a red Porsche Carrera GT, driven by his friend Roger Rodas. The Carrera GT was a rare car, only about 1,200 were ever built, and it had a reputation for being extremely difficult to control. It demanded perfection from its driver. Any mistake at high speed could mean disaster. Around 3:30 p.m., the Porsche accelerated down a quiet street. Witnesses later said the car was traveling over 90 miles per hour. Just seconds later, it lost control, struck a curb, then a tree, and finally a lamppost. The impact ripped the car apart and immediately sparked a fire. At first, many assumed Walker died instantly on impact, but the coroner's
tree, then a lamppost. You know how crazy that is to bounce off a tree, boy.
Report told a more disturbing truth. The collision broke bones and caused trauma, but it wasn't fatal. Paul Walker was alive after the crash. He was strapped into the passenger seat, conscious but trapped, as flames spread rapidly through the wreck. The autopsy showed he suffered burns to his body and smoke particles were found in his airway, clear signs that he was still breathing when the fire started. The heat became unbearable within moments. The smoke filled the cabin, making every breath agonizing. He fought for air as the flames closed in, but there was no escape. The seatbelt that had saved him from being thrown out now became the reason he couldn't get free. It took only a minute for the Porsche to become an inferno. When first responders arrived, the fire was too strong to approach. Witnesses could only watch helplessly as he was trapped inside the burning car. Paul Walker died from a combination of traumatic injuries and burns. The news spread instantly.
Yo, I didn't even know all of this shit, bro. Yo, this shit made it even fucking worse, boy. Why the fuck would you... Oh, shit. Nah, that shit sounds fucking... Nah, boy.
Across the world. Fans mourned not just the loss of a
RIP to the GOAT, boy.
Movie star.
Nissan Skyline, boy. That's one of my dream cars, cause it's this motherfucker right here.
But the cruel irony of how he died. Paul Walker spent his career portraying invincibility on screen, but his real death was slow and impossible to escape. Ryan Dunn. On June 20th,
there was no need for that.
2011, the quiet roads of West Goshen Township, Pennsylvania, became the scene of one of the most shocking car crashes of the decade. Behind the wheel was Ryan Dunn, a 34-year-old stunt performer best known for his appearances on the television show Jackass. Dunn had built a reputation as someone who constantly pushed the limits of safety, often risking his body for stunts that blended comedy with real danger. But this time, it was no act. At around 3:30 a.m., Dunn was driving his Porsche 911 GT3.
Damn, not a Porsche, boy. What's happening with the Porsches, bro?
Investigators later confirmed he was moving at an extreme speed, estimated at over 130 miles per hour. His passenger was Zachary Hartwell, a 30-year-old friend and former Navy veteran. On a stretch of Route 322, Dunn lost control. The car left the road, crashed through a guardrail, and slammed head-on into a tree. The impact was so violent that it tore the car apart. Within seconds, the wreckage burst into flames. The autopsy report later revealed that neither man died immediately on impact. Both sustained major blunt force trauma, but there were also signs of thermal injuries. That meant they were alive, if only for moments, as fire engulfed the remains of the Porsche. Witnesses who arrived at the scene saw a fireball so intense that it was impossible to get close. First responders were met with a vehicle
this shit is so similar to Paul Walker's one, bro.
Already consumed by flames, making any rescue attempt impossible. He died not instantly, but in the chaos of fire and impact, with no escape. His passenger shared the same fate. News of the accident spread instantly across the world. Princess Diana. On August 31st, 1997.
I forgot how isn't she the one that went into a tunnel and then don't come out the other side or some shit?
Princess Diana left the Ritz Hotel in Paris with her partner Dodi Al Fayed. It was just after midnight when they got into a black Mercedes-Benz S280 driven by Henry Paul. Paparazzi followed them closely on motorcycles and in cars as they pulled away. Moments later, as the car entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel at high speed, it lost control and slammed into a concrete pillar. The crash was violent. Dodi Al Fayed and Henry Paul were killed instantly. Diana survived.
I won't lie, crashing in a tunnel, boy, that must be like one of the worst places to do that shit. Because that shit, most of the time, there's no like side, like it's literally you on the side of the fucking tunnel, boy. That shit dangerous, boy.
When first responders arrived, they found her still alive in the back seat. She was conscious, her head resting against the seat in front of her. According to fireman Xavier Gourmelon, who was among the first on the scene, she looked at him and asked, "Oh my God, what has happened?" Her injuries were catastrophic, but not immediately fatal. The crash had torn her pulmonary vein near the heart, causing massive internal bleeding. From the outside, she appeared shaken but not beyond help. Inside, her body was shutting down. Rescuers worked frantically to stabilize her. She was placed on a stretcher and taken out of the tunnel, still breathing, still aware. In the ambulance, medics tried to control the bleeding and keep her heart beating. For nearly an hour she fought, slipping in and out of consciousness, her body failing from the hidden damage. At 4 a.m., in the Pitié-Salpêtrière hospital, Princess Diana went into cardiac arrest. Doctors opened her chest to try to repair the torn vein, but the injury was too severe. Despite desperate attempts, they could not save her. She was declared dead at 4:53 a.m. News of Diana's death spread around the world within hours. Millions refused to believe it at first, hoping the reports were wrong. In the day,
nah, that shit. The whole France is gone, boy.
News of Diana's death spread around the world within hours. Millions refused to believe it at first, hoping the reports were wrong. In the days that followed, tens of thousands of people brought flowers and letters to Kensington Palace. Her funeral on September 6th was watched by an estimated 2.5 billion people worldwide, one of the largest television audiences in history. For many, it was not just the loss of a princess.
Boy, that's bigger than the World Cup, say that's crazy.
But the loss of someone they saw as a symbol of compassion and humanity. Dale Earnhardt Sr. On February...
Unless she's only one of that, like, the whole fucking royal family that I actually kind of fuck with, I won't lie. Like random TikToks be coming up on my shit. Or like random information I learn about. So like, in the past, bro, she like the only one in that family that I fuck with, bro. Everyone else can, they can, you know what I'm saying, they can.
February 18th, 2001, the Daytona 500 was coming to its final lap. The race was the biggest event in NASCAR, and the man in the black number 3 Chevrolet was its most famous driver. Dale Earnhardt Sr. was a legend of the sport, known as the Intimidator for his aggressive style. Fans expected him to finish strong, as he had so many times before. But as the pack of cars rushed toward the final turn, disaster struck. Earnhardt's Chevrolet...
You think NASCAR people fuck with cars? Or they think it's what's it called? It's a bad representation of their sport. If I was a NASCAR fan, I would fuck with cars, but they put us on, I won't lie. But I don't give a fuck about NASCAR.
Made contact with another car,
lost
cars, control, and slammed head on.
Boy, that show got me through fucking my childhood. I had a DVD of Cars. You know how many times I watched that thing, bro? Till I couldn't watch it no more, bro. Till the disc broke.
Into the concrete wall at nearly 155 miles per hour. The impact was sudden and violent. At first, it did not look like a fatal crash. The car wasn't torn apart, and there was no fire. From the stands, many thought Earnhardt would climb out as he had so many times before. But inside the cockpit, the situation was very different. The collision caused what doctors later called a basal skull fracture, a break at the base of the skull where it connects to the spine.
Fuck it. So this motherfucker like basically decapitated right out his neck.
It is one of the most catastrophic injuries in racing. Medical experts explained that the injury is not always instantly fatal. For a few seconds, the driver can remain conscious, feeling intense pain, confusion, and a sudden struggle to breathe before the body shuts down. That is what happened to Earnhardt. Rescuers reached his car within moments, but he was unresponsive. He was rushed to Halifax Medical Center, where doctors tried to revive him. At 5:16 p.m., Dale Earnhardt Sr. was pronounced dead. Millions of fans were left in disbelief, unable to accept that a driver who had seemed untouchable on the track was gone. His crash led directly to sweeping safety changes in NASCAR, including the mandatory use of the Hans device to prevent head and neck injuries, redesigned car structures.
It was crazy that some shit gotta happen for shit to like get better, you know, to improvements will be made, because yeah, that's crazy. Ukraine just came up
and
with
safer
this
walls
thing
and
before.
tracks. Cut in half. In the early 1980s, police in Germany were called to one of the most disturbing car accidents
There ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy.
ever recorded on the country's highways. The crash involved a Porsche 928,
It's another Porsche. What's going on with the Porsches, bruh?
a sports car capable of reaching more than 160
I thought the Corvette was supposed to be the most dangerous car.
miles per hour. It was a car built for speed, but also one that left little margin for error. On that night, the driver was traveling at extreme speed on the Autobahn. Witnesses later said the Porsche was moving so fast that other vehicles looked almost stationary. In a split second, control was lost. The car swerved, hit the guardrail, and struck it with such violent force that the vehicle was torn apart. The Porsche's strong frame was built to
Fuck
protect
it.
against impacts, but at such high speed, the human body inside stood no chance. The force of the crash literally cut the driver in half. His upper body remained
Fuck
strapped
it.
to the driver's seat, while his lower body was thrown several meters away.
Fuck
from the wreck.
no.
When first responders arrived,
Nah, boy, imagine, boy, these did the firefighters, whoever came here first on scene, traumatized for life, bro. I won't lie.
they were confronted with a scene so gruesome that many described it as one of the worst they had ever witnessed. The car itself was shredded, scattered across the road, and what was left of the driver was in two separate places. The accident quickly became infamous among German police and highway authorities, not only because of its brutality, but also as a stark warning of what happens when human flesh meets physics at extreme speed. The driver had not been
Fuck it.
burned, nor crushed slowly. His death was instant, but it was also violent in a way that shocked even seasoned investigators. Roger Williamson. On July 29, 1973, the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort was underway. The race drew thousands of fans who watched from the stands and the grass banks that lined the circuit. Among the
Damn. Spit a bar there, boy.
drivers was Roger Williamson, a 25-year-old from England who had only just started his Formula One career. He was considered a rising talent, young and ambitious, eager to prove himself at the highest level of racing. On the 8th lap of the race, something went wrong. Williamson's car suffered a tire failure at high speed. The car veered off course, hit the barriers, and flipped over. When it came to rest, it was upside down, almost
And isn't back in the day, bruh, they don't have fucking safety, like the cars weren't as safe as today, bruh. Is no way is it because of this accident that they changed.
immediately. Fuel leaked out and caught fire. Williamson was alive inside the cockpit. He had not been killed by the impact. Trapped upside down, strapped in, he could not move. The smoke and fire began to surround him.
Fuck.
His fellow driver, David Purley, stopped his own car and ran across the track to help. Purley tried to push the car upright with his bare hands, but it weighed far too much. Flames spread quickly.
No, that's a fucking real ad. You know what I'm saying? That like, that's some like shit.
Purley shouted for help, but track marshals hesitated. They had no protective clothing, no fire.
What the fuck he was? He's there in the front lines trying to push it in with his bare hands, and you're worried about this. Nah, fuck these officers, they say.
Proof gear, and for
How are you doing more than the actual people hired to do the thing, they say? That shit crazy, bruh.
crucial minutes, they did not come close enough to the burning car. Williamson's screams could be heard from inside. He was still conscious, fighting to escape as the fire grew hotter and thicker smoke poured from the car. The crowd could only watch in silence. Purley tried desperately, grabbing a fire extinguisher and spraying into the
Nah, this motherfucker a W man's boy. That's a real nigga right here, boy. Don't fuck around with the soul. You're doing more than the motherfuckers hired to do all this shit. Respect, boy. I respect it.
flames, but it was nowhere near enough to put out the blaze. With every passing second, Williamson's situation worsened. The heat, the smoke, and the lack of air inside the overturned car made survival impossible. After several minutes, the fire consumed the cockpit. The screams stopped. By the time rescue vehicles finally arrived, Roger Williamson was gone. The entire scene was broadcast live on television. Millions of viewers saw a
Damn,
young man
Katsu
die not
commercial or some
instantly,
shit.
but slowly and painfully, trapped while help stood only meters away. Roger Williamson's death shocked the racing world. It led to major criticism of Formula One's safety standards and the lack of proper response at the circuit. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for similar ones and feel free to drop suggestions for the next video in the comments.
What the fuck is that? Well, no, boy. This is too much fucking sad shit for me today, boy. I won't lie. I just fucking seen that David shit, but now, boy, I need some upbeat shit, boy. Why fast food sucks now, boy. I won't lie. But shout out to this motherfucker, though. Simple Paint. Fire video.